Dear and respected teachers, welcome on my laptop screen. I will give you all the details. Let's start. This video I am recording especially for the teachers and the students. MEXT Teacher Training Program Scholarship 2021. Embassy will open contact the shortlisted students in February 2021. So last date to submit the application is 22 January 2021. Every year, Government of Japan offers a scholarship to the Pakistani students and who wish to conduct research on school education under the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology, Government of Japan MEXT. The scholarship program, this is non-degree training course, but you can apply for a different scholarship. As I earlier mentioned, that MEXT scholarship programs offered by the Japanese government by the Embassy of Pakistan. Especially there are three types of scholarships: bachelor, master and PhD program, and especially for the teacher or teacher training program. Here is eligibility criteria. You can see in details. You must keep in mind when you apply for this scholarship. Age: applicant must be born on or after April 2, 1986. And about this qualification, about this scholarship, the applicant must be graduate of the universities or teacher training schools and have a work as a teacher as a primary school educational institutions or teacher training schools, excluding universities. Here I want to explain that the teacher that are teaching in universities are not eligible to apply for this scholarship, and you can apply your own home country embassy for the 5 year in total of October 1, 2021. In services, university faculty members are not eligible as I mentioned earlier. The individual criteria for this scholarship: the applicant must be intellectually and physically capable of spending an 18-month period in an international atmosphere and a society with a culture very different from that of Pakistan, as the applicant must be willing to learn Japanese language. I will explain about the language proficiency. Japanese language is required for this scholarship or not, but I will suggest you must keep in mind, try to learn the Japanese language to learn more about the culture and education system in Japan, and research guidance in Japan. Because of many universities conduct only in Japanese, and Japanese training is provided by the university in Japanese beforehand, and the courses usually starts in October. And as I earlier mentioned, that if you want scholarship ability to win this scholarship, you keep in mind that you should learn Japanese language to win this scholarship. It's a good time for you. If you want to win this scholarship, you must learn a Japanese language training. The required documents, prescribed application, I will give you all the details how you can apply for this scholarship and how you can fill this scholarship, because the many students and teachers contacted me on my Instagram account and my Facebook page, and they have many questions, and I will give you all the details how you can fill the form, and I will give you all the details, and how you can fill the letter of recommendation, and how you can get from your principal. I will give you all the details how you can fill and what is the eligibility criteria. And third one is the statement of purpose for applying to this scholarship. I will also give you all the details how you can write the statement of purpose, and medical and other mentioned document. So let's go to guidelines that are required for this scholarship. Here we will click and we will see here a full details guideline. If you want to apply for this scholarship, I will suggest you please read all the detailed guidelines. The application guideline: Japanese government scholarship MEXT scholarship for 2021, teacher training program and teacher student program, Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology. Here you should try to keep in mind the many things. I will suggest you please read this paragraph carefully when you are applying for this scholarship. MEXT accept the application from international student for study in Japan who satisfy the following qualification and condition. It is aimed to foster the human resource who will become a bridge of friendship between guarantee and country and Japan to study in Japan and who will contribute to development of both countries as the world. Means the purpose of this scholarship is to become a friendship bridge between two countries, and main purpose is to learn country culture, educational system and educational research. Nationality. Applicant must be national of country that is diplomatic relationship with Japan. Only those countries can apply for this scholarship who already have a diplomatic relationship with Japan. An applicant who have a Japanese nationality at the time of application is not eligible. Means Japanese national are not eligible for this scholarship. Only international students and international teachers can apply for this scholarship. However, the person with a dual nationality who hold the Japanese national and who place a residence at the time of application is outside of Japanese are eligible to apply as long they choose the nationality of the other country. It means if the Japanese are having another nationality, they can apply for this scholarship. Renounce their Japanese nationality by the date of their arrival in Japan. The first screening must be continued at the Japanese diplomatic mission in country of which the applicant choose the nationality. Here you can see all the details, as only international students and international teachers are eligible for this scholarship. And other thing is important, that is age. Required for this scholarship in principal application must be born on or after 2 April 1996. It means if you are born before this date, you are not eligible to apply for this scholarship. Exception of limited to case in which the MEXT deems that the applicants could not apply within the eligible age limit due to situation of circumstances of applicant countries, military services obligation, loss of educational opportunities due to disturbances of war. Due to these circumstances, you can get more relaxation in age. The personal circumstances like financial situation, family circumstances, state of health circumstances and related to applicants, university or place of employment will not be considered for exceptions. It means if these personal circumstances will not be included or not be acceptable for this to get relaxation in age. And academic and career background, it's an important part. You should learn and you should try to read this scholarship part very carefully. The applicant must be graduate of universities or a teacher training schools, have worked as a teacher as a primary and secondary educational institutions. And here I will explain and again the teacher training schools excluding universities. As I mentioned earlier that university teachers are not eligible to apply for this scholarship in their home countries for the total period of 5 years or more of October 1st, 2021. In services, the faculty members in a higher education institution are not eligible. Japanese language eligibility or Japanese language proficiency. The applicant must be willing to learn the Japanese because the purpose of this scholarship is to share the ideas and share the ideology, share the method and culture and educational research. So you should try to learn the Japanese to learn more about the Japanese culture, education and research in different at the school level education in Japan. The applicants must be interested in Japan and will be willing to deepen their understanding of Japan after arriving in Japan. As I already mentioned, the applicant must have the ability to research and adopt in living in Japan. If you want to learn more about the Japanese food culture and different places if you want to visit, and if you want to buy something, if you want to know something, because in Japan not so much people know about the English language. As you know, if you are in Pakistan, so I think so no one knows about the Urdu. So you should try to learn the Japanese language. Health. The applicant must submit a health certificate in prescribed format signed by a physician attesting that applicant has no physical and mental condition and the applicant study in Japan. Arrival in Japan. In principle, applicants must be able to arrive in Japan by designated period, usually September or October, between the day 2 weeks before the course start and the starting date of course. If the applicant can't arrive in Japan during the prescribed period of personal reason, travel expenses to Japan will not be paid, excluding cases in which the MEXT deems in unavoidable circumstances, and the applicant must withdraw from this scholarship program if the applicant can't arrive in Japan by the end of specified period of time which decided by the MEXT or accepting university. So you should keep in mind, if you are eligible during this time, you should apply for this scholarship. If you have any other assignment and if you are busy this time, you should try to apply for next year. Visa requirement. As an applicant shall in principle newly obtain a student visa at the Japanese diplomatic mission located in applicant country of nationality. As you can get this from the Japanese Embassy in Pakistan. They is dealing this visa process. JD visa office nowadays dealing about the visa process. So you can, if you get your scholarship, you can apply for visa in JD office Islamabad or in Lahore. According to, even if the applicant already had or other resident state, permanent resident, long-term resident, the applicant must change it to the student status and re-enter the Japan. Moreover, the student again applied for their original resident status of permanent resident or long-term resident. Such resident status might be not necessarily granted. It should be noted that if the guarantee covers to Japan's without newly obtained student visa, the provision of scholarship will be stopped. Eligibility criteria for this scholarship you should keep in mind, and I will explain. Any one of following conditions are eligible to apply for this scholarship. As I already mentioned, the different requirement as in guidelines. Here is 8 number is eligibility, non-eligibility. Those who meet any one of the following conditions are ineligible. If identified ineligible after being selected as the student, he and she withdraw from the scholarship. First one is those who are military personnel or military civilian employees at the time of their arrival in Japan or during the period of payment of scholarship will not be eligible for this scholarship. Second one is those who can't arrive in Japan by the last date of period specified by the MEXT or accepting university is also not eligible for this scholarship. Third one is those who are previous graduate of Japanese MEXT scholarship in Japan in past, including those who withdrew from the scholarship program after the arrive in Japan. It does not apply to those receiving any other scholarship in Japan are not eligible for this scholarship. Those who are currently applying for another program for which the scholarship payment will begin in financial 2021 through the Japanese government MEXT scholarship are also not eligible for this scholarship. So I will suggest you, if you are applying for another scholarship, you must in application form and tell in details which scholarship you are applying for next 2021. If you are selected for both scholarships, so you should, the MEXT government scholarship council will cancel your one scholarship and you can get the other one. Those who are already enrolled in Japanese universities or other institutions with a residence status of student and who are going to enrolled or plan to enroll in the Japanese universities or other institutions as privately financed international student from the applicant to the MEXT scholarship program in the applicant countries until commencement of period of MEXT scholarship. Next one is those who are planning to receive the scholarship money from an organization other than MEXT, including government organization of applicant's country, on the top of scholarship money provided by the MEXT after the start of scholarship payment are not eligible for this scholarship. And 7 point is holder of dual nationality at the time of application can't verify that they will give up the Japanese nationality by the time of arrival in Japan. As I only mentioned in an above section about the nationality, I also give you all the details. If you are dual national, you can't apply for this scholarship. And 8.1 is those who change their residence status, to that of other than student after their arrival in Japan are also not eligible for this scholarship. All these points you should keep in mind when you are applying for this scholarship. If you have any one of these 8 points, you will not be eligible to apply for this scholarship. So all the things keep in mind when you are applying for this scholarship. 8 point is return and continue to work after the end of scholarship period. I think so. This is agreement between Pakistan and Japanese government. All the applicants who are applying for this scholarship and they will win the scholarship and they will go to Japan, they must have an agreement between the Pakistani government and the Japanese government that all the trainee must return to Pakistan or their home country after the completion of this training program, because sometime applicant after completion they did not return to their home country, they go to another country or they work after the completion of period. Applicant must ensure that they return to their home country by the end of final month of scholarship period and resume their work as a teacher at his or her primary or secondary educational institution or teacher training school. The applicant shall utilize the results of their research on school education in Japan. If a guarantee fails this condition, he or she may be ordered to return the entire amount of scholarship paid during the scholarship period. It's very difficult for the applicants because a very huge amount. You can't return all these amounts, so you should keep in mind. Those who are uncertain about returning and resuming their work after the end of the scholarship period should not apply for this program, because already explained that in the Japanese government and your home country must have an agreement about the returning of the applicant, because the purpose of this scholarship is to share the culture, educational system and all the things that are happening in Japan must share their home countries and must apply search in their home country to more progress in the underdeveloping countries. Scholarships be granted those who are willing to contribute to mutual understanding between the Japan and their home country by participating in activities at the school and communities during the study in Japan while contribution of Japan. They also make an effort to promote the relationship between the home country and Japan by maintaining the close relationship with university attended after graduation, cooperating with the conducting of survey, questionnaires, and cooperating with all the relevant projects and events conducted by the Japanese diplomatic mission after they return to their home countries. Placement and specialized training at universities. Study or training is implemented only in the university study courses listed in course guideline of teacher training program. They will provide you when you will enroll. They will give you all the details how you can apply these courses and how you can learn. The courses guideline is only available from the MEXT as a website, MEXT website, and Japanese diplomatic mission in the country of applicant nationality. You can download the courses guidelines of the teachers training program from the Japanese Embassy website. MEXT, in consultation with the universities concerned, will decide the university where each guarantee shall be enrolled by the taking into consideration his or her Japanese language eligibility. If you already have a Japanese language proficiency certificate, they will definitely recommend you universities where you can learn more about the Japanese language, and they will offer all the courses in Japanese. And if you don't have an eligibility or Japanese proficiency, definitely they will recommend to take the English language courses, so that you can learn more about the educational system in Japan. The result of written examination and specialized courses his or her wishes to take. If you want to take exam in English, you can, and if you want to take examination in Japanese, it's up to you. The objection regarding university placement will not be accepted. If you are selected for one university and if you want to wish another university to enroll, I think so it will not be accepted by the accepting university has yet to be determined by the specified period of time. By the middle of August 2021, the applicants will be rejected. It means if you want to apply for another university if you win the scholarship, if you are enrolled, and if you want to change your university, you can before the August 2021, and after the August 2021 you can't change. The training at the universities will be conducted in Japanese or in English. In principle, languages used in each courses can be confirmed in course guide of the teacher training program. As I earlier mentioned, that if you want to take courses in Japanese, you can, and if you want to take courses in English, it's up to you. But according to my experience in China, that you should try to take your programs in English so that you can learn more about, because in a very short time Japanese and Chinese are very difficult languages. So I will suggest you please take your courses in English so that you can learn more about the Japanese educational system. The guarantee who Japanese language eligibility is insufficient shall take the Japanese language education in Japan language study course at the accepting university or university designated by the MEXT. Japanese language education. Here I will suggest you to take the Japanese courses so that you can learn more about the Japanese language and the culture. And I think so if you get good marks during your exams by Japanese proficiency, definitely you will awarded a more scholarship. The training mainly consists of educational administration. Examples: educational administration, finance, school management. The training program the training mainly consists of educational administration, like educational administration and finance, school management, and educational methods. Examples are like classroom teaching, training system theories, curriculum and educational assessments, specialized subject research like mathematics, physics, chemistry, and mathematics, gymnastics, and observational tour and practice like class observation, participation in special educational activities, tours of educational research facilities. However, as the course content vary with each university, please make sure to check on course guide. And 6 point is the guarantee has completed a specified course at accepting university will be given a certificate from university. Please be aware that the purpose of scholarship program is not to obtain an academic degree. The guarantee therefore shall return to home country by the end of final month of scholarship period after completion of course and resume their work as a teacher his or her primary school educational institution or teacher training schools. The guarantee can't be enrolled in master or doctorate course at Japanese universities during his or her scholarship period or right after its completion. If a guarantee fails his conditions, he or she may be ordered to return an entire amount of scholarship paid during the scholarship period. And what is the period of scholarship? Here I will explain. The scholarship period is necessary period for the completion of accepting university's training course, and which should be between October 2021 starting month of the course and March 2023. The extension of scholarship period is not permitted. It's very important. So you should complete your whole courses and your training in a given time so that you can award your training certificate. If you don't complete, I think so it will be not good for you. And what scholarship will offer you and what are the benefits by this scholarship? Monthly allowance are 1,43,000 yen per month. It's a huge amount. Supplemental regional allowance are 2,000 to 3,000 yen per month will be added to the monthly scholarship amount for the guarantee studying and conducting research in a specially designated region. Due to situation of the Japanese government budget, the amount of payment may be subject to change each fiscal year. If a guarantee is absent from university for an extended period, the scholarship will be suspended for that period. So you should always be in university and always try to participate during your study time. When you are free, you can move and you can go for the other activities in Japan, but during the study time you should be in university and you should try to learn more about your courses. And educational fees for the entrance examination, matriculation and tuition at the university will be paid by the MEXT. It's a very good for you because you can't afford these educational fees because it's a very huge amount. You can't afford. Travel expenses, I think so you can read more about the transportation from the Japan. As just I can conclude here about your travel. Government scholarship, MEXT Japanese government scholarship will offer you an economy class air ticket from the flight of international closest guarantee residence to the international airport in Japan used on the normal routes to accepting universities. So we will go to the next for more details. And suspension of payment or scholarship is a very important section, so you should keep in mind. I think so in this video I have already explained the many things in details, but the payment of scholarship will be cancelled in following reasons. Like a guarantee is judged to have made a false statement on his or her application. Second one is guarantee violates an article of his or her pledge to the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sport, Science and Technology. Another thing is the guarantee violates any Japanese law or are imprisoned for an identified period of time of exceeding 1 year. If you are exceeding 1 year, then your scholarship payment and your scholarship will be suspended or cancelled. A guarantee is suspended from his or her university or receives The other punishment are removed from the enrollment as a disciplinary action in accordance with school regulation of accepting university. The other is, it has been determined that it will be impossible for a guarantee to complete their study course within the time period because of poor academic grades or suspension or absence from the university. I think so it's not so good for you. If you are going from your home country to the Japan, you will represent your education, your educational system, and you will represent your country. So please be careful about everything. The purpose of this scholarship is, I already mentioned, that is not to just tour and the many things other than this activity. You must concern about and you must concentrate on your projects, your assignments, and you must take part in academic programs, academic exams, and take a good grades so that you can represent your country in a more good way. The guarantee came to Japan with a newly acquiring the student residence status and change his or her residence status to one another student. Also, suspension will be of your scholarship. The guarantee has received another scholarship excluding a specified as being for research expenditures. Your scholarship will be suspended. All these points you should keep in mind, 1 to 7. So when you're selected for this scholarship, please keep in mind all these things. So that another section is your selection. Your selection will be, the Japanese diplomatic mission will conduct the first screening of applicant by the means of examination of submitted application documents and written examination, subject Japanese and English, and interview. I will also give you all the link how you can see more about details about different samples are available on Japanese embassy. On the previous papers like 14, 15 and 16, you can informations and how you can apply for this scholarship. If you have any difficulty, if you want to more about this scholarship, if you have any question, definitely I will try to answer your question in details. You can ask me on my Instagram account or my Facebook page, or you can comment on this video. Definitely I will try to reply so that you can apply easily. The purpose of this video is educate how you can apply for this scholarship through proper way. The date and time of notification of results of first screening will be specified separately by the Japanese diplomatic mission in the applicant's country. The reason for the results of screening will not be disclosed. Only the selected student will be through email. They can check the selected student list on the Japanese Embassy website. Applicant who have passed the first screening will be recommended to the MEXT. MEXT will conduct the second screening of applicants recommended by the Japanese diplomatic mission and will select the applicants successfully passing the second screening. And the fourth one is the results of final selection will be notified on the date separately designated by the Japanese diplomatic mission in applicant country. Name of accepting university will also be notified by the scholarship guidelines, guarantees, and objection to the decision on university placement will not be accepted. As early mentioned, if you want to change, you can before the middle of August 2021 you can change, but after this period you can't change. And the second one is very important question is here, applicant document. the most of student ask me about these documents, so I will give you all the details how you can prepare these documents, how you can fill these documents, especially your application form, your physical health and placement preference letter, what the documents are required for this scholarship. The applicant must submit the following document to the Japanese diplomatic mission in applicant countries by the designated deadlines. 22 January, I think so, 2021 is a last date for submission of these documents. So you should prepare these documents before the deadline, and you should parcel all the document to the embassy. I will give you details how you can send your document and which address you can. First one is the application form. I will give you details. The placement preference letter application form. In this letter you will give the preference about the university. I think so 5 university you can give the preference. I will certified grade transcript for each academic year from the last university teaching training school attended. This is very important. The diploma from the last university or teacher training school attended. 5 is certificate of employment, because this scholarship is for the teachers doing a job on permanent basis, and the students recently graduate from the universities. And the recommendation letter from the immediate supervisor at the work, as your principal, as your headmaster, and the student get this recommendation letter from supervisor, from your previous degree, and the medical certificate. I will tell you how you can fill this form and how you can attach this form. And certificate of Japanese language proficiency, as I mentioned, if you don't have, so you should try to attach your English proficiency certificate. It will be I think should be noted is also 5 to 6 points. If you want to read in more details, you can. I think this is a very I think so I already filled this form, so that the application form for the Japanese government MEXT scholarship teacher training program. So before filling this form, you must take instructions, type or write really by the hand in block letters, use alphabetics and Arabic numbers, and write the years in Western calendar, write the proper noun in full without abbreviation. And very important note is, personal data filled in this application will be only used for scholarship selection purposes. Contact information such as email address of selected applicant must be used by the Japanese government in order to create an academic network or send out information with the necessary. I think so you should try to fill these information very carefully. If you are your Japanese government and the Japanese universities and Japanese embassy will contact with you through this contact informations. First of all, let's start how to fill this form. First one is a name, surname, given name and middle name, like Muhammad Rizwan Ashraf. Surname is basically in Pakistan our last name is surname, so Ashraf is the surname. Surname is Ashraf and given name is Muhammad and middle name is Rizwan. Gender, male or female, you can choose male, so I tick already. So your marital status, if you are single then you can, and if you're married you can click here. And nationality, as like Rizwan Ashraf is a Pakistani national, so nationality is Pakistani. Japanese nationality, yeah, if anyone have a Japanese nationality they can yes or no, no So mostly student don't have the Japanese nationality, so mostly they will take on no. Here the date of birth, year, month and day, and here finally you can put here your total year of age. Current address you must write here in detail, so that your documents address, so be careful about this section. And country is Pakistan, and an important thing is, if you are currently reside in Japan, what is your current visa status? If you are already in Japan, so you can read about and you can write about here something, and if you are in your country, you so fill here nil, you are not in Japan. And other thing is your address before the departure of Japan. I think so many student, I will suggest here you should take both permanent and current address same, because if you are in your hostel or in your university, so I will suggest you please take here the same as above, because your permanent address is important. You can easily receive your documents. Other thing is phone number. Here the phone number with your country code, as like in Pakistan is +92 is a country code. So here is a very important is the email. You must put email login in your mobile for 24 hours. You can get information. You are suggested to be written. Important note about this section is you are suggested to write an email address that can be continuously before, during and after you stay in Japan. So be careful about this section. Another thing is, have you graduated from, so next is how you graduated from a university or a teacher college, teachers of a college. If not, you are not eligible for this scholarship. 8 point is, have you graduated from a university or a teacher's college, or if not, you are not eligible to apply this scholarship. So you should tick here yes. And 9 point is, are you currently a teacher at a primary secondary school or teacher at a teacher college excluding university in your home country? If not, you are not eligible to apply with this scholarship. You also click here on yes. 10 point is, do you have a total of over 5 years of teaching and school administering experience at your current job as October 1st 2021? If you are not, you are not eligible. So click here on yes. So 11 point is, do you intend to resume to work or utilize the fruit of research in teaching capacity after you complete the program in Japan and return to your country? Yes. If you click on not, then you are not eligible for this scholarship. Have you been awarded a Japanese government scholarship in past? If yes, then you are not eligible for scholarship. So you should tick on no. If you already get this scholarship, you can tick on yes, but you are not eligible. And if you are sure whether the previously awarded financial aid corresponding to the next MEXT scholarship or not, please consult in advance with the Japanese diplomatic office. If you already get your scholarship from your MEXT scholarship by the Japanese MEXT Scholarship Council, so you are not eligible. If you get another financial aid from the Japan, you are eligible, but you should try to contact with the Japanese diplomatic office to confirm about your previous financial aid. 13 is, are you applying for any other Japanese government scholarship for which the scholarship payment will be begin in financial 2021? I already explain all these things in details, but here is just need to click here, just no. And other point is, are you applying for, are you receiving or scheduled to be receiving any scholarship from any organization other than Japanese government MEXT, including in an organization of your home country government, and further with the MEXT scholarship? If yes, then you are not eligible for this scholarship. So you must about, if yes, then do you understand, you must cancel the other scholarship by after selected to the MEXT scholarship student, since it is not allowed to receive any other scholarship together with the MEXT scholarship. So you should apply, you should tick on no. If you are receiving or applying for any other scholarship, please specify the name of sponsor, scholarship period and scholarship amount you can describe in this section. So I'm not applying for any other Japanese scholarship, so I will write here I'm not applying for any other scholarship in 2021. And here is your academic record. You can fill this section very carefully. You can read all the instructions about how you can fill all these. I will tell you all these because of very short time. So here is first one is your what is your educational level, what was and school name and location, and the year or month of enrollment and period of you already have attended, how much time you have attended this scholarship, like 5 year, 2 year, 3 year, how much time you have attended this scholarship. So you can see here that for especially if you are applying for this scholarship, especially for teaching training program, so all especially from your last degree program and last degree of your schooling, you can put here your graduation, and about the bachelor or master program, what is your last degree. I think so no one is PhD, so you can fill here. Like primary education in Pakistan, we 1 to 5 class is a primary section, and 6 to 8 is our secondary and mid secondary, and after that is a higher secondary and university graduation, and after that all the my education was started in 1919 to 2004. I have completed my primary education, so 5 year, already mentioned 5 year. After that I have completed my secondary education from 2004 to 2008, so it's also the 5 year program, so I already completed. And after that I have completed my intermediate education from 2008 to 2010. I can mention here the province like Punjab. I'm for just like his state or province is Punjab. And after that upper secondary education is secondary education means your intermediate education. You can write here is 2008 to 2010 is 2 year, and after that is your undergraduate education like University of Sargodha. If you have a 4-year bachelor program, so you should mention here 2 year, just like your BSc, you can write here 2 years. If you have completed your bachelor degree like BS program 4 year, you can mention here 4 year. So another thing is tertiary higher education graduate. If you have a double bachelor program, you can mention here. So you can mention here in tertiary higher education graduates portion. You can write here your university name and your Prefernce state like Punjab, because Sargodha is located in Punjab, so state or province is Punjab. Here is from 2011 99 to for 2014 is like a 4-year program, 2-year. And other thing is University of Sargodha, if you already have completed your master or MPhil degree, you can mention here like state or province is Punjab, city or town is Sargodha. So from 2015 to 2017 you can here mention 2-year program. Is also about your 16 year of education, but if you have your MPhil program after your BS program, then it will be 18 year of education. So remarks, very good grades you can mention here, good, excellent, and if you want. I think so already mentioned on your transcript what's your level of. The past field of specialized study in the university or very important portion is 15. Past field of specialized study in university or a teacher training school being specified as possible. Mostly students have confusion about this section. So what they should write about this section, what was your major field of study in university? Maybe your degree was about math, English, science, agriculture. If you have a specialized achievement, you can write here. Like if you get any medal, certificate of achievement, position, scholarship, national or international award. Teacher can mention here the training and under different organizations like Punjab Educational English Language Initiative Program. You can mention here what is your achievement. You can just brief very shortly here because the space is very short, specify as possible. And 17 is a state of title or subject of books, including have mentioned here the title of your master or MPhil thesis report, because in master degree mostly if you did not have your MPhil degree, you can mention here your report title, so it's enough for you. And if you have any review paper or research paper, if you are author of any book, you can mention here your author name, address of publishers, and the date of your publication of your book you can mention. And like I already mentioned, as example, if you have any book, you can write here like your name. If you are another co-author, you can write, and what was the year of your publication. You must write here 2000, just like this author have an publication like physiological stress reactivity in human pregnancy, and a review paper. You can mention here what was the journal, and you can hear all the details. And other section is 18 is very important. You can write here all the details. 18 section is very important. Your status, occupation, if you are student, yes, because this scholarship is especially for the students and primary, secondary school teachers. So especially university teachers or professors or lecturers are not eligible to apply this scholarship. So you should mention here what is your present status and occupation. If you are a student, so mention here as a student. If you are primary or secondary or college teacher, so you should mention here the name of school where you are employed, and you should write here your recent, where are you studying. You must mention here the name of school and name of university you are graduated from recently. So you can mention here the location of your school and location of your university, like state or province. As I mentioned that I have completed my education from Punjab, so I can mention here state or province is a Punjab, and if you are a teacher, so you can mention here as your province, and where is your school location, you can mention here. So city or town, and the duration. The most important is section is for duration. Write all the details that what is your appointment year, and till now how much year you have a service. You can mention the years and the months, and the present type of work. The present work as like if you are a graduate student, so if you are a teacher, mention your subject, like if you are a math teacher, English teacher, science, and what was your duties, like I'm responsible for preparing the lesson for the lesson plans and educating the student at all levels, and other things like signing works, homework, grading test, and instructing in a variety of subjects, and research students with engaging lesson plans, character building, student parents meeting and arrangement. These are especially, I think so, duties of a teacher. You can mention here in details. A very short space. You must have very specify your educational and all the things very. And the next is very important, is the 19 portion is very important, that your place of appointment, the employment record as a teacher at primary, secondary educational institution or a teacher training school excluding university. Write the record before the most recent employment, as the most recent one has been already stated in 18 your status or occupation. First one is the name of school. You should mention here your recent school you're teaching or you are studying. You must mention here. Just like government high school, mention that government high school Panjgiri Tehsil Darya Khan and district Bhakkar, and state or province is Punjab, and school or city is Panjgiri, and what job content, like you are a teacher, and what's your position, like your assistant teacher, you're a primary teacher, you're a secondary teacher, just I mentioned here. So duration, like 2016 was my appointment date, so mention here, and year, month and date, and till now how much time you have your service, you can mention here. If you have transferred during this time in a different schools, you have worked and you have a 5-year experience in a different school, so you can mention here all the details. First one is your recent one, and other you can mention 4, 5, 6, 7 position you can mention. So your experience must be above 5 year or above 5 years. As I mentioned, the total period of employment as October 1st 2021, the sum of 18 or 19 must be over the 5 years. I already mentioned in detail. And write connection with the past field of specialized study in a university or a teacher training school. Be as specified as possible. I already mentioned here how you can write your research proposal. It's very important. If you have any difficulty, you can contact me. I will personally tell you about all the details how you can write your research proposal, because if you have different subjects, so you can just guideline how you can. Teaching, just like is your field of teaching is a science or research theme, like I mentioned here, the latest techniques to improve the student learning process is your theme of your research proposal. So other things how you can write, first one is title should be short and comprehensive. Latest techniques to improve the student learning process, and other after the title must have abstract of 2 to 250 words, introduction, literature review, and reference. As for your convenience, the research purpose and requirement, especially if when you're writing your research proposal, you must keep in mind all these things. First one is research proposal should be fill the following requirements. It should match with your interest, match the latest research. It should be according to your advertised opportunity. It should match with any professor research field. How you can decide your topic, your title. The following points you should keep in mind when you are deciding about your topic title, or your go to university website in which you are interested. Go to your department website. Other thing is go to professor's profile and find the professor related to your research interest. Download and read the latest research papers to know about the latest research. Go to Google Scholar. You can search the latest review papers on that field and read these review papers to know about the previous research on this topic, and try to find the drawbacks or limitations of the previous research, and try to create an idea how you can address the drawbacks and limitations of the previous research. Try to write titles of your research proposal. Choose the best title, not too short or not too long, full explanatory. Start writing proposal. I will suggest you something is very important is note. I will suggest you first of all visit the university's faculty, explore the professor of your interest, try to make a proposal according to ongoing faculty research. It will be better for you if it will be easy for you to make a good proposal. You can give here a second option. What will be your second proposal? You can mention here in detail. So language eligibility, Japanese. If you don't have any language proficiency, Japanese language proficiency, so you should mention here 0. Writing is 0, and speaking is 0, and listening is 0. And what's your English level? You can, just like it is mentioned, 3 is for excellent, 2 is for good, 1 is for fair, and 0 for poor. So I will suggest you should write about your level here according to your proficiency. If your reading is excellent, you can put here 3. If your reading is good levels, you can 2, and write here 2. I think so. Write here 3. But non-English native countries, our level of English is not so good like English native. So Japanese language qualification, if you have, so you can write here. If you don't have, so you can put here 0. And English proficiency qualification, if you have a TOEFL, IBT, if IELTS and other. If you don't have, so I will suggest you please mention here the English proficiency certificate issued by your university. And other language qualification, you can put here Urdu, Punjabi, and other languages you can write here. Last one is pendant. Following information, if you plan to being with the family members, you should put all the informations about wife or husband name, what's your relation with the wife or husband, what's your age and nationality. You can write here all the details. Emergency contact person to be notified in applicant home country. It's a very important portion, so you should try to fill this portion carefully. You must try to put the person name that can understand the English level. If you have any accidental, if you have any emergency, so Japanese government or Japanese embassy contact with that person. So be careful about filling this portion. So like name is name, and like Asmat, and relationship like a brother, and current home address you must write here, and what is the occupation of that person, contact person, you can write here, and personal phone number you must write here with your contact, your country code number. So be careful about this. And the email, you should try to put here the email that is all the times be available in your phone, and log in. Please visit and stay in Japan. List of the following most recent visits. If you have, you can put here all the details. And the final is when you are submitting or filing your application form, I think so you should review all your details from A to Z, so that you can, if you have any mistake, you can correct. So after completion of this form, just read the final instructions, and like I understand and accept all the matters stated in application guidelines for the Japanese MEXT scholarship for 2021, and upon confirmation of my qualification for the application as stated above, I hereby apply for this scholarship. You must put here your signature. When you will download this form, you must put here your signatures. It's a very important, and you must applicant signature is, if you don't, so your application will not be considered for further process. And the application date you must mention, and that's it all about how you can fill about this form. If you have any question, you here's your health certificate of health for 2021. You can fill very easily. I will tell you how you can fill. As I mentioned, is your surname, is your last name, is your given name, and is the middle name. As I earlier mentioned that Muhammad Rizwan Ashraf. Ashraf is your surname, and Muhammad is your given name, and Rizwan is your middle name. If you are male, so you male, so click here for, you can click on male, and your date of birth, and mention year, month, and day. And physical examination, what's your height in cm, weight in kgs, and your blood pressure mmHg, and the blood type AB or worse. RA factor are positive or negative. What's your pulse rate, regular or irregular? Mostly I think so all the healthy people have regular pulse rate, so it's okay. Color of blindness, if you are color blindness, you can mention. I think so mostly people are normal. If you're normal, you can. You have impaired, you can. And eyesight without glasses, right or left, and with glasses, right and left. If your speech is normal or impaired, hearing is normal or impaired. Physical and X-ray examination of the chest within the 6 months of so you can mention here about your X-ray report and describe the condition of the lungs. Your physician will write about your lungs. If you have any disease, so he will write about your just like lungs are normal, cardiomegaly, so impaired, if impaired, so electrocardiogram ECG. Here they will take more informations about X-ray date, and the full name means report number, lungs and cardiomegaly if there is something happening. So he will take about normal or impaired, and third point is disease currently being treated. If any disease is currently being treated, he will write about no or yes, so he will mention here the disease name. The past illness or disorder, please check and fill in the date of recovery and under the treatment. If not contracted with any of them in the past, please check in none. If you have any of following disease, so you can mention here about yes or no, like a tuberculosis and other communicable diseases, kidney disease, diabetes, malaria, epilepsy, heart disease, and drug allergy. If following of if something is happening in past, you can mention here. I think so. Be honest and must mention here. If you have any psychological problem, you can mention the functional disorder in the extremities, must mention here. Following condition, if something is happening, so you can mention. If there is nothing, so mention here none. The laboratory tests like urinalysis, like glucose, protein and occult blood, and ESR, WBC, hemoglobin and anemia, these tests must be attached with this form. And the physician impression of the applicant health, you can mention here. Please fill in the application needs regular medication or treatment. If something is happening, if something is a disease condition, so your physician will write about your treatment is previously going on. And in review of the applicant history of above, finding is your observation that his or her health status is educated to pursue the studies in Japan. So your physician will write about how if something is happening, if your health status is okay, then he will and he already observed your all findings. If something is not happening, if you're healthy physically and mentally, so he will take a yes, and if you don't yes, the embassy will not accept the application. Please show that the check either yes or no. If not, it means it's all about your suggestions above form, your all previous history about all your treatment so he will write about the physician signatures and office, institutions and address, and he will signature and stamp. This is all about medical certificate of health. And here is your recommendation letter. It's a very important part of this application. So you can fill this recommendation letter. This letter will be specially filled by your principal and your authority at present. Applicant name like Ashraf Muhammad Rizwan, and to the applicant, please fill your full name above, give the form and envelope marked conditional and an address to yourself, to the person you have asked to recommended you. Ask this person to place the completed form in the envelope and sealed envelope. It's a very important. Sealed the envelope and sign across the sealed and send it back to you. Submit the unopened envelope with your application to the Japanese embassy or consulate general, it's a very important thing. You should not open your recommendation letter that offered or right by your principal or your present authority. It's a special instruction from the MEXT government scholarship. So to be recommended, please respond to the following question. Please type to print, and after completing of this form, the envelope provided, sealed the envelope, sign across the sealed and return to the applicants. The recommendation is required part of application process and to be used for the admission purpose only. Prompt return to candidate is important. MEXT appreciate your assistance and would like to assure you that your comments will be carefully considered. Your recommender name, if your principal name is like Muhammad Yaqub, and what's the title and an institution, like a senior headmaster, government high school, like Panigarain. So address is mentioned like headmaster office, government high school, Panigarain, Tehsil Darya Khan, district Bhakkar. And here mention also the phone number and the email of that principal and or your supervisor. So these things must be keep in mind. And during which period of time you have had the most frequent contact with the applicant. Your principal will mention the time duration like 2015 to 2020, 5 years, and what was the nature of your relationship, like a student teacher or your employer boss, like this and this you will mention about. In what areas does the applicant needs improvement or growth, he will mention. Please comment on the applicant's interpersonal skills and how does he or she work within a team. How would you describe the applicant leadership skills? He will mention about this. And please comment on the applicant's degree of the self-confidence. Please comment on the applicant personal character. Please indicate the overall evaluation of the applicants for the Japanese government MEXT scholarship. Is strongly recommended and recommended with reservation. He will put he will tick and he will choose what option he want to. And please write what additional comments you would like to make about the applicant's potential for the graduate study in Japan and potential for becoming a responsible, effective person for your country. Additional pages may be attached, and back pages of the person you can read about the more details. If any other format of recommendation letter will be acceptable, it means if your professor or your principal have his own letter of recommendations, it will be acceptable. I think so. I will suggest you it's very short, and if anyone need a recommendation letter format, I will send him or her personally if someone need. So it's all about your professor will sign and stamp here and date, and your recommendation letter must be enveloped and sealed and stamped, and you must submit this recommendation letter with your all documents to the embassy in Pakistan. So last thing is, and here is a very most important letter of placement reference application form for the Japanese government's MEXT scholarship teacher training program, and your preference of about the university you want to take, 1 2 3 4 5, which universities you want to take first preference, second preference, and third preference. Here you can fill how you can fill this form, like your name, surname, and given name, and alphabet and middle name. The name should be filled in an alphabets, and the gender, male or female, and date of birth, and like year, month, and date, and total year of your age. And you must try to read the instructions about how you can choose choose the university at the most teaching field of specialty you wish to attend, the listed in course guide. If you have any, you can take this, you can read your course guide, and you can choose which one university is your first preference, and select the course related to your answer for the 20 research plan in Japan and in application form. As I already mentioned in detail that in research proposal portion, that you must try to visit the university website. You can take idea is this university is your related to your research plan or not. So make a list of universities, make your first preference with the most relevant to your research proposal. So second is your second here you can take preference and the name of university, and 5-digit course code that will be mentioned in course guide. You must put here about what course you want to, and teaching field, what your teaching field is, mathematics, your science, or something is as I mentioned about the 5 different like education, like sports, like science, culture, and different things like that. And you can take your second choice and third choice and fourth and fifth choice. All about this is for you, and you must carefully, in case you are not admitted to all of above university, if you don't have an idea which is the for good for you, do you choose, please aware that you will not be accepted as the MEXT students in case when the accepting university has yet to be determined at the time when the placement period expires in the middle of 2021, August 2021. And if you selected I will study at university designated by the MEXT scholarship, MEXT government scholarship, as I already mentioned that you must take all these preferences very carefully, and if you want to change your university during your stay in Japan, you can change your preference of 1 2 3 4 5, which one want to you want to study. You can choose before the middle of August 2021. After this date you can't change your major and your university, so be careful about when you are choosing this and you are filling this form. So you can I will study at the university designated by university, okay, and I will withdraw my application to study in Japan. If you don't relate with the MEXT policy, you can choose here what you want to do, what you want. If you don't choose any preference, you can because if you don't choose any preference, so MEXT, if you are selected for this scholarship, MEXT will definitely will suggest you university for your studies. So it's all about this scholarship. If you have any question, you can ask me in my Instagram account or Facebook page. This is all about teacher training program under the MEXT government Japanese. Under the MEXT government, this is all about informations. If you have any difficulty, you can personally contact my Instagram account or my YouTube page, Scholarship Network Guide Official, and it's all about teacher training scholarship under the MEXT government 2021. Allah Hafiz.